What's up everyone, OJ here. Welcome back to a discussion video. And I was thinking about this a lot when it comes to my live stream yesterday. We always make jokes, which by the way was partially blocked in certain countries and demonetized. Shout outs to Sony of Japan. We love you out there for those demonetizations of 2 to 3 minutes of music from Final Fantasy. But anyway, that's not the point of this video. The point is to talk about kind of what's going on in the gaming industry and how while Nintendo's return to dominance with the Nintendo Switch, their return to relevance in the console space has been anything short of like amazing, has been seriously just absolutely phenomenal with the amount of games that we're getting. The future is definitely uncertain. It is uncertain for Nintendo. It is uncertain for lots of companies out there, but the way that I see the industry going, which like I said, we've talked about on like the OJ live streams and everything, and I make jokes about it in terms of being like the last bastion and being like the last village here that's even going to be able to keep up with how gaming is supposed to be, at least in our opinions, with regular physical media and actually being able to play games off of whatever media that is and not digital downloading it and streaming. And that's the uncertainty. Nintendo with the Switch has brought back a form of media that everyone was thinking was dead, right? Nobody had used cartridges. The last modern system to use cartridges from a major developer was the PlayStation Vita when it comes to from like the big three or anybody looking to get into the core gaming market was the PS Vita. And the last home console to use cartridges was the N64. So it's not like cartridges were like a popular pick because there's all sorts of issues with cartridges. You have the expense, right? You have the price of them. And then you also have the limitations on space, which Nintendo is dealing with right now at this point when it comes to the Nintendo Switch. There is limitations on space and they are still really expensive, even for a measly 32 gigabytes of space. That's going to cost a lot more than a fully stacked Blu-ray disc. So you have issues there. But beyond all of the problems that they have dealt with when it comes to that, Nintendo has still prevailed with the Switch because I think that Nintendo reminded everybody what gaming is supposed to be in terms of just having fun. That's what gaming is supposed to be. It's about having fun. Yes, performance is important. Yes, graphics are important. Yes, sound and all that stuff are important. But at the end of the day, you just want to play really good games. And if your games can be revolutionary or whatever, if your games can be so innovative and so great that it overcomes all the limitations that are placed on you, whatever it's the physical media or whatever it is, you can get something that is magical. And I think that's what the Nintendo Switch has done for many people out there. There's something different about just having this system to where you can just kind of like take it out of this dock thingy, right? And you can play it anywhere that you want, and then you can put it right back on your TV. You have these little cartridges that you put in there, and for many of the first party games and for just many games in general, everything's already on there. Now, if you need to download an update, patch, whatever the case is, that's fine. But everything's on there and there's no issues with having to install and do all this other stuff. It reminds them of how gaming was when you just went and bought a game. Like I said, it's for some people, obviously, like the download, that's whatever. But a lot of times you just get the game, you put the game in, and bam, it's pretty much ready to go. You're ready to play, you're ready to have fun, and I think that's what the cool thing is about the Nintendo Switch. And one of the biggest reasons why that Nintendo has returned to the dominance it has with the Switch. They've done something that no other console developer was even going to try to do. There is no way that any other developer was going to try to bring back cartridges. Like, that was a no-no. People were saying that's a horrible idea. People were saying that this is going to flop, this is going to fail from doing that. They didn't learn anything from the Wii U. I mean, how many of those videos did you guys see? Nintendo learned nothing from the Wii U. This was before the Switch even launched, even though they were launching with a huge game, The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild, which the Wii U didn't. But apparently Nintendo learned nothing from the Wii U despite launching with a massive game, which New Super Mario Bros., while that game is good, that is not a massive game like The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild. So people did not give Nintendo a shot. It was tough, right? It was tough for them. But when I saw that first presentation, pretty much, well, not first, because that was the October thing where they showed off the Switch for the first time. But when I saw that presentation in January, where they revealed all those different games and the pricing and what they were trying to do for the system, the fact that it was region free, that's when I knew, like, hey, this system's going to be around at this point. But let's talk about the future, because while Nintendo's doing great things right now and they're selling, they're having a lot of great hits come out, there's been a ton of great games. What about the future? That's where the uncertainty lies. That's where I think people are kind of like, okay, well, what's going to happen? As we've seen with Microsoft and Sony and now Google Stadia, Apple Arcade, everybody is going digital, everybody is going streaming, everybody is going subscription services, right? That's what everybody is doing at this point. Expensive subscription services when it comes to their consoles or their games. Hey, you want to play 500 games, you pay this a month. Hey, it's all digital. Hey, well, if you don't pay this, you don't get those games anymore. That's where everybody is going. And heck, even partially Nintendo, right? With Nintendo Switch Online. That's a little bit different though, because you're charging for the online service and you get some games with it. I almost kind of see it like an Amazon Prime type of thing, right? Like you buy Amazon Prime so you can get these different products shipped to your house, but then you get with it the whole digital streaming service. So I almost kind of see it as that, but still another subscription service, although it's super cheap. But you're seeing all these different subscription services and multiple ones even pop up on a system like Xbox, for example. You have like Ultimate Game Pass, you have regular Game Pass, you have Xbox Live. I mean, there's so many different things in terms of what you can pick from. And then now you have the xCloud that's coming, which is, I think, also going to be a separate type of service on there. And then so much stuff like Google Stadia and then Apple Arcade. It's just getting to be towards crazy. And I made a rant video the other day about it as well. If you haven't seen it, make sure you check it out on the channel, where I was just like, I'm not down with all these different subscription services, all these different streaming services, all the stuff that's kind of coming in. But that's where the future is. People are starting to come to my channel in my live streams and say, hey, OJ, well, Apple Arcade does this. This is like amazing. This is a game changer. I can put my PS4 controller on Apple Arcade if I pay $5 a month to play games. And it's like, well, the developers can just release those games on the PS4 or the Xbox One or the Switch, and you can already use your regular controller. I don't know why we have to pay $5 a month to be able to play a game, to be able to play a game like a normal or traditional sense in terms of the game. Like the game was like Oceanhorn 2. Like if it just released on the PS4 for like $15 or $20, well, you can just play it there. You know what I'm saying? Like you don't need to sit there and fandangle in a PS4 controller to an Apple Arcade on an iMac or on a tablet or something. Like you don't need to do all these different moving parts to slam them together in order to have some type of game changer, when you can just have the game on there normally. And better yet, what if the game came out like on a cartridge or on a physical disc, and then you can just play the game normally there? Like you just put the game into your system and you play the game. I don't see how much more of a revelation or something new it is to sit there and pay $5 a month to play a game and use controller from different systems. I mean, that's not appealing to me, but that's the future, right? For example, Google Stadia does the same thing. Oh, well, you can use our controller, but you can use a PS4 controller. You can use an Xbox One controller. It can support all controllers, pro controllers, whatever the case is. I mean, these are what people are thinking. It's like, oh wow, I can use this controller on this system. It's like, well, if you just release it on that system, then you could just play on that system. Whatever happened to just playing the game on that system and be able to have native support on that system? So that's the future. That's what people are doing. People are talking about how more and more I see content creators who just all digital, who are just saying, oh, well, yeah, all digital is just fine. You're not even physical discs anymore. And it's been like this for a while, but now it's actually getting to the point to where there's a lot more people. I remember covering this type of stuff back in the day, and pretty much everyone was on like the physical boat, digital, like 2013, 2014. People weren't necessarily as much on there, but now I guess like the attitude and what people are thinking has changed so much dramatically in like 4 or 5 years ago to this point. And it's getting to the point where I don't know where the future is going to go with this. Like there's going to be a time when there is no more physical media. Can you guys think about that? There is pretty much like no more physical media when it comes to gaming. Yeah, you might still have some things here and there, but it's just going to be pretty much gone. And you're not going to get that traditional feel in terms of how a game is and everything. And I know I'm sounding like the old man talking here, but this stuff is important to so many people out there. I spent $67 on Final Fantasy VII and Final Fantasy VIII, the twin pack. $67 on games that old, just because I can get them physical, just because I feel that Final Fantasy VII on a physical cartridge is something that's just magical. Right? We never thought that would happen, and yet now it's happening with the twin pack, and I'm willing to spend more money on there. So while it's great right now, we're getting stuff like this. We're able to play games off of the cartridge and relive that childhood memories, right, of slamming that cartridge into the system and playing normally. I don't know how much longer it's going to last, and I don't know what's going to go on in the future. I think it's very uncertain. I think Nintendo is also thinking about what they're going to do when it comes to the future and streaming and playing games and stuff like that. Heck, I mean, we've got Resident Evil 7 on the Nintendo Switch, but streaming only, like only in Japan. Assassin's Creed Odyssey, same thing. So they've already dabbled in it, but we'll see what Nintendo does next generation. I think that one of the most interesting things out of all of gaming, more than the PS5, more than the next Xbox, more than anything else, one of the most interesting things is going to be what Nintendo does next generation, because they have this hit system, the Switch, right? They have this hit system, but in terms of the power of the system and kind of the media, like what are they going to do to expand, right, with games going forward next generation? What are they going to do with the system itself? Is it going to have more of a base stock that adds more power? Is it going to just really kind of go all out on a next custom mobile chip? I think the most interesting thing next generation, hands down, is not the PlayStation 5 and the next Xbox, because we already know what those systems are going to be. They're going to be more of a PC in a box, even more of a PC in a box than we got before. That's what they're going for. Whereas what is Nintendo going to do with the mobile hybrid technology? This hybrid is like almost pretty much the first in its class when it comes to modern systems. No other developer has tried even anything like this, or no other first party manufacturer has tried anything like this. So to me, that's the most interesting thing, but it's also like a lot of uncertainty. How expensive are they going to go? What are they going to use? It's going to probably be a custom chip. There's so many options out there, but they have to keep into consideration price, battery life. There's just so much things, but we'll see what happens. I'm excited and interested just to kind of see, but I will say I am like a little bit like questioning what the future is going to hold, because I see things as very uncertain. But what do you guys think? What do you guys think about the future of gaming and how things are going to play out? I would probably give it about 20 or so years before physical media just drops down to essentially absolutely nothing. I hope I'm wrong on that. I really hope I'm wrong on that. I know a lot of people felt the same thing with music, but if you look at music, man, most of it is pretty much just streaming services or like iTunes or whatever the case is. I don't know all the different music services out there, but everything's pretty much just streaming. People don't buy as much physical music anymore. It's still around, but people don't really buy it anywhere near as much as they used to. And I know Blu-rays are still around, but streaming is also very big when it comes to it. But Blu-rays are still around when it comes to like the movies and all of that. But we'll see how things go in the future. So what are you guys' thoughts on this? Let me know in the comment section below. All right, guys, that wraps it up for this video here. Go ahead and check out the links in the description below. We got Facebook and Twitter. Go ahead and give us a like and a follow on our social media. Hit that like button if you did like this video. Let me know you guys want more content like this going forward in the future. And subscribe to PlayerEssence for this RPG, Japanese, Nintendo gaming news. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll catch you guys for the next one. Peace.